Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the west coast of France, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the east coast, still in the U.S., and even vacation couldn't stop us from bringing you some player props here in the NBA on a really small 2-game slate here. Not exactly the 2 most fun games to watch. We're not going to be, we'll be fully transparent about that, but still some value and some props that we found for you guys, 4 of them to be exact. Go ahead and make sure to like and subscribe to that page. You can continue to follow along with us. We bring you a couple game videos and these player props each and every weekday of this regular season. Also want to head to thelines.com, have our great written content up there for you guys all season long, and our odds finder tool, which you can use to make sure you are shopping NBA player props across the U.S. sportsbooks to the best of your ability this season. Nate, let's go ahead and get into the first of our props for tonight.
Yeah, no pressure, Josh, but Mo pinch hitting hit. We went 4 for 4 last night, breaking a little skid that we had the previous 2 games. So
Fair.
Let's try to get back on the high note here.
Channel my inner Mo.
Yeah, I mean, that just means taking under on everything, but we're going a little more over happy today. Jamal Murray is at 16.5 points, and we know the dude's a bucket. He's been off for an entire year plus, in fact. I mean, injured at the end of the 2021 season. So it's kind of a wait and see in terms of is he back? But, you know, the Nuggets have been off for 3 full days. They haven't played since Sunday. So if there's a time to back him, it's now, especially when you look at the last game before they were off. He dropped 21, played a season-high 32 minutes. Nearly a 30% usage against the Lakers team that's like top 3 defensive rating, right?
Yeah.
The Thunder have plenty of vulnerabilities. And earlier this season, he went for 16 on a 28% usage rate in just 28 minutes against OKC. You look at his last 2 before he was injured against the Thunder. He certainly had at least a 27% usage rate, got at least 21, and attempted about 7 threes a game when you average all 3 of those together. So plus 140 for him to hit 3 threes, which he again did in his last game there against the Lakers. He went 3 for 7. I like the juice there, but I think your safe bet is just 16.5 points for a guy who's well rested and is capable of just going off. Also, Jokic has been much quieter when they're at OKC in terms of his scoring. I think this is an opportunity for Denver to get Murray a little bit more involved and Jokic to facilitate for him.
Yeah, and I mean, if they're going to continue to increase his minutes and bring him along, then you could easily get ahead of that. And 16.5 is still, really low for a guy who obviously can average close to 24 when he's right. So no qualms there, and definitely down to get ahead of Jamal Murray's points props before they get too high this season if he's going to continue to trend upward. But I'm going to go over again, as you mentioned, a little bit over happy, although we do have one under in here for you. But this one is not it. Jordan Poole. We talk about that Orlando game and kind of like Orlando, but Jordan Poole on this road trip has looked really good. His points, rebounds, and assists right now is minus 115 on FanDuel to go ahead and get over 23.5. If you think there's, the likelihood of him putting up either the rebounds or assists, you can go ahead and get some double-double. We have some player performance opportunities in there, but I think we like Orlando to cover 9, but that's not what we're worried about here. Like I said, on the road trip for him, 21 points a game with a 28% usage rate, and that's really what we're hoping for as he continues to get usage, especially when, if he's going to get the minutes as well, and play some with that starting lineup. You still like him as he's shooting better than, Klay Thompson is at this point. Even Wiggs has come down to earth a bit, especially from his field goal percentage. So he likes playing against Orlando, probably because he continues to get time as, they have sat guys like Klay or Steph, and they do have a back-to-back. This is the front end of it. So it is possible that even one of those guys sits again, and it could be a reason to contribute to him playing well against Orlando, where in the last 3, he's averaged 20 points against them, 4 boards, 5 assists, around that 28-29% usage rate that he's been seeing recently. And like I said, without Steph, if there is the possibility that anybody sits, or even Steph, one of those guys sitting, and he does tend to increase some of this stuff that he does when they played Orlando without Steph last time, 26, 2, and 6 on a 31% usage rate, right? So, I think there's plenty of reason to like Jordan Poole coming off the bench and then getting plenty of minutes tonight to get over to get 24 points, rebounds, and assists against a team that he's averaging close to 20 points against the last few times he's played them.
Yeah, I mean, his scoring prop is also just 16.5, same as Murray here. And it's kind of the same expectation. I mean, a guy with like a 27% usage rate as a floor, a guy who's averaging 21 on the road since the end of February. when they started to give him more responsibilities, when he became a much bigger part of this offense, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you have no problem just going with the points. The peripheral stats aren't going to blow you away with Poole, but it's kind of a sharp move to bet this either early or bet it if Steph and Clay are both ruled in, and it looks like the Warriors have their whole team, but then you look at the schedule and you know that they're probably going to scale back those guys' minutes a little bit so that they're fresh for the Pelicans, and Poole they just let go whenever they need to pick up that slack. So I'll stay in this game and go with Wendell Carter. I wanted to take an over for the guy. I mean, he went for 30 and 12 in his last game. Paolo took a step back, and my logic was going to be that Draymond is going to be all over Paolo tonight here and force the Magic to find some other sources of offense. But they have so many bigs, and it's led to a real step back in usage for Mr. Carter here. On the season, his usage rate down to 20%, whereas like much closer to 25% last year when they didn't have the young Rook, etc. Golden State's given up a ton of production, though. The most points per game to centers, 30. But again, they have like 3 centers out there. And a ton of rebounds, 16 and a half. But I think the rebounds is usually just about sheer pace because it's not like Golden State's inefficient and giving you a lot of rebounding opportunities, but huge discrepancy home and road in terms of their pace. Like we said in the game video, they dropped from a pace of 106 to 98 on the road this season. They were 99 last year in terms of pace, and that just led to much lower production. So that is all to say, Wendell Carter, 29.5 points, rebounds, assists. I will go under there. Not really a big assist guy, so that just gives you a little more breathing room than 26.5 for the points and rebounds. At the same time, I'll take plus 120 on him to get a double-double. I just think it'll be more like 12 and 10. I don't think he's going to follow up that 30-12 game with a big outing here against the Warriors.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll see what the pace is. I know the Dubs are going to try to run it up. But yeah, I don't know. Like you said, there's 3 centers on the floor, and whatever you consider Paolo. So there's, plenty of guys that need to be guarded by different guys. And I don't think you can just stick Draymond on, one person and say, go ahead. I think it depends on some of the lineups. We'll see how Kerr, rotates big guys in. Who do you trust guys, someone like Wiseman against, whose defensive rating continues to be absolutely duty. But if Draymond switching around and stuff like that, it's not like you can just bank on one guy getting the attention of a guy like Wiseman and go from there. So we'll see. I don't hate it though, and it's very interesting to me and hilarious that you're not exactly the loosest better, Nate, but it's very funny. Like I like it. It's just interesting to see you go. I think he's going to go under in this one category, but I think the double at plus money still feels good because it would be much closer to like 15 and 10 rather than the 32 that he just put up. So I'm going to finish things off here, Nate, with an over of a guy who's just continues to have a terrific season because he's finally playing all the time, and that's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA. Over, there's a lot of things you could talk about tonight with him against this Nuggets team. Assists is the one that we're talking about right now, or rebounds and assists. He's going to have a high point total all the time this season. It's like 27.5, depending where you find it tonight. So the assist, though, at 5.5, plus 105 on DraftKings. You can also talk about the 10.5 rebounds and assists combined, which is, close to what he averages this season already. And in his last 8 versus Denver, 19 points a game, but then 6.5 rebounds and 6.5 assists a game as well during that time. You talk about this 4-game win streak for this Thunder team, who's amazing on defense again, but their offense is fueled by this guy. 32.5 a game, 5 boards, 7.5 assists or so in his 36 minutes per game or so, and that's so that his 36 per is wonderful. 32, 5, and 7, and then 33% usage rate in that time frame. So you mentioned there's a possibility, and you were cautious about this in terms of KCP now being such a good perimeter defender and likely to get a lot of the time opening up on SGA to try and get a bigger quick defender on him like KCP, but the last couple that he's played against KCP when he was on Washington last season, 32, 3, and 8, and 15, 8, and 9. So continuing to get, above the rebound and assist rate that we like there. And Denver overall is they're allowing the fourth most points per game to point guards. They're allowing 8.5 assists to point guards, about ninth most overall that they're allowing. And then they just are allowing a ton of assists in general and not turning the other team over. They're second to last in their opponent's assist to turnover ratio. So when you've got a guy who's going to have the usage rate, who's going to have the ball in his hands as much as he is with SGA. You like the points, but you really, really like him to continue to get close to 8 assists and then just need, a couple boards to really put you over that 10.5.
Yeah, the points is too much for me. It's 27.5. I mean, he's totally capable of getting there, but I don't think it's something you want to make part of your formula for betting. Like, let's bet on a 30-point game every time out. I mean, he's fluctuated pretty wildly in these types of matchups, but he's also put up great peripheral numbers. Whenever he gets 36 minutes, he's a per 36 monster. And like we said, OKC is playing to win early in the season, so they're going to give him his time. And that's why I love, 11 rebounds and assists. I think he will get that one way or another.
Love it. Cool. And that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Definitely want to make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along with us. We're coming back to you each and every weekday with these picks, these player props and game picks. So until we see you next, happy betting.